the management of the Putila factory declared a lockout. That was in retaliation for the strike the workers had started. But threats could no longer repress the people's anger. The strikers marched from the industrial districts to the center of the city. "We can no longer wait and keep silent," said a leaflet issued by the Petrograd Bolshevik Committee. The Tsarist authorities thought that this was merely a hunger mutiny and that the people could be appeased with food. But something bigger was at stake. "Down with the old regime," said the voice of the people. On February the 23rd, Old Style, on International Women's Day, the women joined the demonstration. In an effort to thwart the people, Military Area Commander General Khabalov warned the population that the troops would fire, but all in vain. The peasants in soldiers' uniforms were carried away by the example set by the workers. Only 6 weeks had passed since Lenin uttered his prophetic words about the impending revolution. On February the 27th, it materialized. Time has left its traces on this film. It is not surprising, for it has gone through a lot in the past 40 years. The State Duma is in session in the Tauric Palace. Outside are seething multitudes, and heated meetings are held everywhere. Bolshevik soldiers had not learned the art of oratory, but on behalf of their regiments, they were outspokenly demanding peace. Meanwhile, somebody is making a speech behind their backs. Recognize him? That's Purishkevich, the Black Hundred chieftain. He is insisting that now is the time to prosecute the war to a victorious finish. The revolution was accomplished by the working class, but it failed to reap its fruits. The compromising parties were supporting the bourgeoisie. The provisional government was headed by Prince Lvov, and his ministers, familiar figures all, Milyukov, Guchkov, Tereshenko. Kerensky, the socialist revolutionary. But the provisional government was not the only power in existence. On the very first day of the revolution, a Petrograd Soviet of workers' and soldiers' deputies was set up. True, in the beginning, it was controlled by the Mensheviks and socialist revolutionaries. The Bolsheviks were at the time busy leading the masses in street fighting. The prison doors were thrown open, and all the detained Bolsheviks were released. Said Lenin, today Russia enjoys more freedom than any of the belligerent states. But Lenin's letters from afar were already warning the people that the bourgeoisie would try to deceive and fool the nation which demanded bread, peace and freedom. Closely following the developments in his homeland, Lenin called upon the working class, "You must display marvels of organization of the proletariat and the whole people in order to pave the way for your victory in the second stage of the revolution." In all cities, the people were hailing the dawn of liberty. The Moscow Committee of the Bolshevik Party called on the people, all rally under the red flag of the revolution. Long live the Democratic Republic. Down with war. The Moscow garrison sided with the revolution. Vladimir Durov, the people's great favorite, also came out on the streets with his troop. Police officials and agents who had changed into civilian clothes to escape detection were brought to the city Duma. Every one of them tried to change his colors. While the population was short of food, large stores of it were found at police stations. A popular militia formed by workers and students was upholding public order. The captured gendarmes were put in prison under the guard of revolutionary soldiers. The freedom awakened the millions to political life. And that applied to the army in the field too. Intoxicated by the revolution, the soldiers did not understand as yet that they were being deceived by the old Tsarist and bourgeois slogan, war to a victorious finish. Petrograd was burying the heroes who lost their lives when autocracy was being overthrown. Hundreds of thousands of the city's working people lowered their banners over the graves on Mars Field. Before the last notes of the funeral song had died down, uninvited guests came to the barracks of the Volhynia regiment. British officers bent on persuading the soldiers to shed their blood for the Entente. But the soldiers looked far from enthusiastic. And the Britishers had to renounce their fool's errand. Meanwhile, General Kornilov, Petrograd area commander, arranged a parade of the officer schools. These, of course, were all out for the war, supporting the bourgeoisie's efforts to seize all power in Russia. The Cossack units were Kornilov's most trusted troops. In Moscow, Area Commander General Gruzinov arranged a similar parade. The troops were brought out under Tsarist banners. Counter-revolutionary elements, aided by the Entente, were openly making ready for action. And so, the moment it was born, the revolution was already in danger. To lead the masses along the right course, the Bolsheviks needed a clear program of action.